Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Teaching Remotely or Teaching from Home. My name is Asa and I'm a science teacher here in New York, the state of New York. And if you're new here, I'm just trying to create some videos to help teachers to be able to teach from home and teach remotely if they have to, for some reason, stay home for an extended period of time, or if you're just going to be absent for a couple of days. This is a way in which you can get lessons to your students, and your students keep learning throughout the time that you're not available for them, physically present with them in the classroom. Um, so if you're new here, you have not seen, and you've not seen any of my other videos, I go into how to use Google, the Google Education Suite. I also looked at other resources that you can use as a teacher. So if you're interested in creating in using Google Classroom, if your school has purchased Google Classroom or has Google Classroom, has access to it, if you're looking to use that, I strongly recommend you watch my previous videos and you'll learn a little bit more about how to use Google Classroom. In this particular video, I'm going to go into a wonderful program that I like to use, an online program. It's called Problematic, right up here, problematic.com. And as a teacher, you could use it for free. And as a school district, a license can be purchased for around $1,500, and an entire building can use it. All the teachers in the building can use this particular program. Don't quote me on that. That was like 3 years ago when my school district got it. So, but check it out. It's kind of fun. So, I'm going to go ahead and create a sample worksheet or a sample quiz. You can create quizzes, worksheets, exams, tests, whatever you want to create. And what you see here is what you'd see when you logged in. Once you log in, you will see all these options that you have. You can look at different state assessments. Here in New York, we have a New York Regents exams. So here's what we have as far as Regents exams are concerned. Their national assessments, their competitions, mathematical standards. They even have SAT prep and ACT prep, pre-algebra, pre-calculus, AP Calculus, AP Stats, AP Chemistry, and there's a beta version of AP Biology. So they also have here math and Spanish down here. As you can see, Texas, I guess the Texas curriculum. There are different things that you can do with this, and the more you get into it, the more you get to know what you can do with this program. It's an online program. So I went ahead and created the name sample quiz. I have no problems in there. But since I teach chemistry here in New York, I'm going to go into New York Regents exams, and I'm going to go in science. Once I click on that, I have some options. Am I doing biology, chemistry, physics, or science in a living environment? I want to do this chemistry. As you can see, you have options to have it in Spanish as well, whatever exam you pick. You click on Spanish, and they tell you what they have in Spanish. They have earth science and living environment in Spanish, and they have all these past Regents exams in Spanish. So, if you want to assign, I don't know if you'd want to assign an exam from June 1983, but let's just go ahead and click on it for fun. So here's the exam from June 1983, but I don't want to assign the entire exam. I could if I want to, right? So it gives you an option to kind of sort through them. If you want to assign everything from here, you can. But you go in here and you can pick on the questions that you want. Which formula represents a mixture? I could click on that. Whatever you want. Which change of phase is exothermic, if that's my question. So I click on that. So, and then I can go back and say, okay, well, I want to go with more like the topics as opposed to exams. So I can go back to chemistry here, click on topics, and I can go for specific topics in chemistry that I would like to look at in here. So maybe I want to look at solid liquids and gases solubility. That's what I want to look at. Phase change. All right, click on phase change, and here are all the questions that I have available. Now, the cool thing about Problematic is they will tell you where these questions come from. But if you click here for the information, you see that this exam, this question appeared in 1982, June 1982. let's say I don't want anything that old and I want something more recent as far as the current Regents exams. Go all the way down to the bottom by navigating through here, this navigation panel here, and I'll go to page 2. And if I go down to the bottom of page 2, I'm going to see the most recent questions given in the exams that Problematic has actually already curated. So if I click on information here, I'll see that this is from June 2014. If I want something more recent, I have to go directly into the exams for that year and click on that. So let's say I want this question from June 2014. I click add. I add it there. Now, they allow you to edit some questions. If you want to add some things that you personally want to add to the question, you can go ahead and do that. They allow you to edit the question. So you can go in here and you actually edit, the question if you'd like to do that. And edit maybe information or what you're actually asking students. You can go ahead and edit that, and this is a really cool feature that they have in Problematic. So I've added a couple questions to my quiz. Okay, I've got 4 problems. It tells me how many problems I have here. In the past, Problematic had an undo button if you needed to undo, but you can still do that. If you go into Arrange, click on Arrange, and this allows you to kind of like set the sequence in which the questions will actually appear to your students. If you feel like students early on in the test have a little more focus and you want them to do the extended responses there, you might want to switch this to the beginning and leave the multiple choice till the end. If you have a long test or a long quiz. And yet, if you want multiple choice first, you can go ahead and switch it right back. And I want multiple choice first, so I can arrange these however I want to arrange it, and it saves it for me. Okay? So, and that being said, I can now go to Format. And I can format this the way I would like to format it. Okay? So let's say I wanted to look at like 2 columns like the way Regents is given. This is what I can show. If I want to show it more with blank spaces, where the students can write their answers in a blank space, I could do that. If I want more of a worksheet format without the blank spaces, I can show it this way. I can show it as a calendar if I want. I can show it as weekly calendar. I can also show flashcards if I like, and different types of flashcards as well. So, and also, if I want to present this in class overhead, I can show it this way as a full screen type of deal. Okay, but I generally like to show. I generally like my quizzes in columns, so this is where I'll have it. So now I've got a couple of options here. If this is for printing, and I'm going to have this printed and given to students physically in class, I can go ahead and make a PDF. I go here and click PDF. And I can share it directly with students if I want remotely. I can print out a formula chart if that's needed, or I can I can download this as a PDF. So this would show up as a PDF, and this is what it would actually look like when the students received it in paper form. It also gives you the answer key right here. So we have the answer key right here. But make sure that when you do print this out and give it to students, there is no answer key. When you send this to students, it will not send it with an answer key. So another feature we have here is that we can format the questions in the New York State Regents. I can change the header. I can put my name in here if I want to. Right here, I can put my name. Right. My name is not John, but John Doe. That appears right here if I want to put my name in there. My name is Asa. It's not John Doe. I can also choose to, in New York State, the Regents are the multiple choice is numbered. So I changed that to numbered because I want my students to get used to seeing Regents types questions as the year goes on. So I could do that. Now, the other option you have here, instead of printing it out, if you want to send this directly to Google Classroom, you could. Problematic has 2 options. You can send a Google quiz, but you need to download, the school would need to download the app, the the problematic app or add-on that you need to be actually to be able to use Google Quiz. However, another way you can send this is you just click here on Google Classroom. If I click on there, it brings up my classes. And here we go. So I can share the classroom. So I can choose which class to share this to. So I want to share this to teaching from home class. So I'll click on that and I choose my action. I create the assignment and go. When I do this, I can title this. I can title, I don't know, distant learning, and that's my title. So then I go ahead and I'm assigning this to all students. I'm going to choose a topic. I'm going to create a topic, and I'm going to tests, or better yet, better word, assessments. So I'm going to create assessments topic, and the due date is going to be Friday, tomorrow. That's when I want it done. Click assign, and there we go. It's been assigned. So now, as a teacher, I want to view it. Generally, I want to view it. Here's the class that I created before in my previous videos, teaching from home, and I posted a new assignment. So if I go into classwork, the assignment is under assessments. So if you had a long list of assignments, if you had multiple assignments that you sent the kids, they'll all appear under the topics you created. So I click on that, distant learning, and here we go. When I click on this, this is what it looks like. The student puts their first name, their last name, and John Doe is a student. Here we go. Click on that, and here we go. And the student starts to answer the questions. And as they answer the questions, they will then, you know, submit and so forth. So that's just one other way that you can use problematic. You could also show a slide in Google Classroom if you chose to do it that way. You could do it that way if you like. And moving on. So what problematic does is that it collects a score. So whatever the students submit, it's going to show up right here to show you the entire class score, right? How many of the students scored 90 to 100%, how many is from 80 to 89%. You can see the individual students that actually answered the question and what they actually missed. It'll show up in red when they miss something. If you have to grade a question by hand, like those short answer responses, it goes here, score this question. You click on score this question. And when you click on score this question, the question would come up and you would have to score it. But there's no submission, so it's not showing up. So you score it by hand and you give the points. You want to see the problem, so this is more data. It'll show you what the correct answers are, how many students, what percentage of your students got the correct answer, what percentage of students did not get the answer. And this is another good way to kind of like go back and reteach a specific concept that the students did not get. So that's another powerful tool about here in problematic. Another thing you can do is you go into settings, and you see you can ask for everything to be emailed to you. You can print out all the results and generate a spreadsheet. But if you go into settings right here, you can choose to show the students the results after they're completed. You can choose every submission to be emailed to you, like literally you get like 1,000 emails. You can choose if you want one problem per page, or you want continuous. Live math editing, if you want the students to be able to edit the math in there. Also, you could, apply all these settings to future documents. I've tried this several times, and I feel like I need to go back in here with every quiz I create. So it might be different for you. Maybe there's something I'm doing incorrectly. So and then you'd click save. You can also, share a QR code. You can kind of put this up on your smartboard, and kids can take a picture of it and use it on the mobile devices if you like. Um, So there are many different, you can add classes and kind of, you can kind of get into this and really explore what you could do with problematic. And my goal here was just to show you problematic as another tool that you can use to teach remotely. So the way I would use this remotely is create a quiz and export it directly to Google Classroom. Send the students a message through Remind. If you've never used Remind, check it out. It's a great tool for communicating with students and parents. They'll never know your number. You'll never know their number. Remind has got a fantastic way of communicate of allowing teachers to communicate with their students and the parents of those students as well. And I'll send them a reminder and say, hey, listen, send a quiz to Google Classroom. I'll go ahead and complete and submit it by this date. You know, so it works out really well for me. So I hope this helped you understand a little bit more about using problematic as a tool that you can use to teach remotely. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'll be sharing more and more videos as time goes on, as I explore um, more tools that you can use to teach remotely. But I hope the videos that I have now will at least get you started and get you started in a path and where you can kind of explore on your own and use some of these tools to help educate your students when you're not available physically in front of them.